Dave Scott Hub Media. It's the August show for Hauser Dover Apothecary with my good friend Barb. Barb, the weather's crisp in the morning. It's that things are starting to change ever so slightly. Summer's starting just to fade, just a touch, not a lot, but enough that we got to start
Mhm.
thinking about back to school and preparing for the fall. And that's what your article this month in the Hub is about. So have at her. Let's hear. What do you got for advice?
All right. Yeah, the seasons are just rolling along here, and we are definitely getting back into a time of year where routine becomes especially important. If you've got children at home, or perhaps you're one of those lucky folks that has had a lot of the summer month off because of holidays or profession. But yeah, getting back to routine, there are a lot of things that are important when we head back into the classrooms. Immune systems, the air quality is different. We have to make sure that children are getting to bed at a decent time. We have to make sure that their immune systems are ready for the challenge of being back in a classroom and not out in the fresh air like we are most of the summer. So there are a lot of different nutrients that we need to look after, but that sleep, the water consumption, overall nutrition, all those things really, really add up as being important as we head back into, the summer wrapping up. And it doesn't matter what age you are, when we aren't getting that fresh air quality, and the more confined air, especially if there are groups of people there, there are a lot of things that we can do to keep our immune systems built up to meet those challenges.
And it's always I'm always amazed at. I remember when our kids were it's going back, our kids were younger, but you gave me some pretty sound advice years ago. Was start working it in mid-August, get that routine sort of started to flow again. And I did on your piece, you talked a little bit about the sugars. Even as adults, we
Mhm.
just overindulge all summer. It could be, that extra glass of wine, or those extra pieces of pie, whatever, and you sort of got to watch it, right? You sort of got to
Mhm.
and I don't know what it is. I think it's just because you want to be outside and you're, like you said, you're going hard all day, but it's kind of, you really got to learn as kids and adults that, okay, time to slow down a little bit, right?
Oh, definitely. And there's a lot of just sort of in the moment things that happen in the summer.
Yeah.
It's I know my daughter's neighborhood, and back when, Brian and I were young, the neighborhood, it was like just spontaneous neighborhood parties would pop up,
Yeah.
and pool parties and family gatherings, and there's a lot of life that is joyfully sort of being embraced during those summer months. And with that, there is a lot of indulgence. And so understanding where those little tweaks are so important, because yes, sugar does derail our immune systems, and it comes from healthy foods too. Anything that's starchy, it's not just the alcohol or that extra piece of pie or the cookies or things like that, but all of those add up, and they also change the microbiome of the gut. Like 70 to 80% of your immune system's regulated by the gut. So if
Mhm.
the intake of food's not healthy, and then we combine that with going into confined spaces, and not the same degree of fresh air, and now the puppy's trying to eat my table. Little
That's why we
bit
do
of
these shows.
fiber in the diet.
Mine are
So,
sleeping right here. Let's keep it down, okay?
oh, yeah, yeah, for
um,
sure.
and the other part, does your immune system shift in the fall? Like we talk about breaking all this down, but the weather's changing. Does your body change a bit too with it?
Well, it does, right? Because our bodies are in rhythm with the season. It's not just our circadian sleep wake cycles and all of those sorts of things, but we are actually in rhythm with nature. And so that's why when we have a wake sleep cycle that goes with the light hours of the day, it's why people are more tired more early as the darkness,
Sets in.
creeps in. So it is important to we find that comfort foods, the more starchy root, earthy vegetables start to be things that we crave, the soups, the stews, and all of that. And so all of those things are really normal. And it's actually a really beautiful thing because they carry different nutrients than a lot of our summer foods. Spring and fall are the best times for our bodies to be given a chance to detoxify. And a lot of people will undertake little bits of cleanses or maybe address any possibility of parasites. Like there's a lot in those gentler months. They're not things that we want to do during the extreme heat nor the extreme cold, because those are already challenges to our bodies. So there's a lot that, when we do a nutritional consultation, that we can delve into with people to really pin down the best way for them to make changes to their nutrition or to their lifestyle, to tweak those things and to optimize their immune systems for those shut-in months that are coming up. But yeah, I mean, you must remember with your kids that when they first started school, it was like, oh man, will
Yeah.
they ever be healthy again? And it's like, what little bug are you bringing home to share with everybody this time?
Right.
And so it's quite interesting. Sorry about that, folks. The
No
puppies
problem.
decided that that dish wasn't quite empty enough.
He's cleaned it out. He's got his vitamins. He's ready to roll.
He's he's about to eat whatever he can find,
Yeah.
so it's a bit of a scavenger. That's why it's so important. It's
So,
only healthy things laying around for him, right? So
but there you go. That's a prime example. Your puppy's got to get into his fall routine soon, right? You got to start
Oh.
nurturing that along.
Yeah, it's kinda like the gremlin thing. If you feed them, they just
Keep going. They just keep going.
they
Um,
do.
with the vitamin aspect of it all, I do find in the fall, like you said, you crave different foods, but I think I feel like I
Mhm.
need vitamin. I don't know why. I think you're coming out all that sun in the summer, and maybe, like you said, the days are changing and
Mhm.
everything. Is that
Right.
is that the same with, obviously that's the same with kids too, right? Because what we're
It
talking
is.
about is it becomes that critical point to maintain that immune system, especially with
Mhm.
what they're going through, not let alone what us adults go through. But it's that point
Mhm.
folks, parents need to realize what their kids need going into the fall as far as vitamins and
Yeah.
sleep and eating healthy and exercise. Boy, it just changes everything. Wow.
It does, and, a lot of people do get vitamin D3 during where their bodies are able to produce that during the summer, but we have 6 months of the year where that's just not possible, and so especially during the summer months, if you're doing things to protect yourself from the sun, either through staying in the shade or using sunscreens or things like that, you're not necessarily ever optimizing the amount of vitamin D3 that your body is potentially able to produce. And that can be up to 20,000 international units a day.
Oh, wow.
So if somebody's not supplementing at all, or if they're only taking 1,000, and depending on their geographic location, they may never be in an area where they can produce those optimal levels. So it's one of those things, it's a test that people can ask their doctors to requisition. You do have to pay out of pocket if you don't have some sort of bone
Coverage.
deficiency disease, but
Oh,
it's not that expensive, right? It's around $50. And it's good information because vitamin D3, it helps protect against different forms of cancer. It's good to mitigate seasonally affected depression disorder. So as that
oh, wow.
darkness comes in, so it's also good for balancing energy levels. If you've got a child that, even an adult that has attention deficit problems, vitamin D3 is good for that. So, colon cancer, breast cancer, mood disorders, bone health. It's a vitamin that acts like a hormone in our body. So it's got so many amazing things that it offers. And it's important to know about that particular nutrient level in your system, because it can be a game changer for a lot of your health. If you've got osteoporosis in your family or the beginning stages, you want to know your levels and what You can't get it from a lot of food sources, even though foods might be fortified with it. You want a soft gel or a liquid because it's fat soluble. So it's all these nuances about nutrients that, and the timing of it, what time of day should you take that? And that plays out with all of your vitamins. You want a high quality one because you want to make sure that your body is absorbing those nutrients properly. You don't want to be wasting money on something that's ineffective for absorption. And a lot of times, food sources just aren't enough for some of these nutrients. So it's knowing your body, it's knowing your immune system, it's knowing the challenges. Things like sugar depress the immune system. So if that's what you're hitting the day running with, is a body loaded with foods that turn to sugar or ultra processed foods, your immune system's more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so it's understanding, okay, what tools, what fuel is my body being given, and what are my expectations and my needs for my body to be able to withstand, and then balancing that all out with the realities of your life, because the more stress we're under, the more that depresses our immune system. And there's good stress and bad stress, right? It's stress is stress, but we have to learn about ways how to modify and support our bodies so that it doesn't take that immune system down. If the immune system's down, inflammation's up, blood sugar levels might go up. You may have trouble with regulating a lot of different things in your system, but your immune system will be one of those things. So yeah, there's a lot.
Last question. It's. I mean, we got to take into account as you and I are aging. Um, it's also important for us because, like you said, you might have the grandkids for a bit of time in the summer, and you're hanging out playing, and it's actually that for you too. You, as a grandparent, want to get back into that routine as well, don't you?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I mean, for those of us that are blessed enough to, share our lives with our grandkids, um, any grandparent will attest to nothing takes you down quicker than your grandkid full out sneezing in your face. And so,
But you love
yeah.
it.
Well, love the time with them. Don't
Yeah.
don't necessarily like the full frontal there, but it's critical if we want to stay vital and healthy and active and involved, to understand how our bodies and our immune systems need those tweaks.
Yeah.
So life stages, different ages, understanding what those challenges are, and that's what I do in my practice, is really help people understand what their unique challenges are and the areas that they can tweak. And it's one of the things that at the apothecary, understanding if you're on prescription medications, if you've been diagnosed with something, you've got a team there. It's integrative. That's the approach that we take. And that's the best way for most people. It's always patient or client centered, and helping you where you want that help, because some people are just fine with their prescription
Yeah.
medications. Other people prefer more the natural route. Some people, we need to establish that bridge between the both and make sure that what they're doing is safe. But yeah, staying healthy there needs to be effort that goes into it. But oh my gosh, it's just so worth it. And August, like, this is a big birthday for me this month, and you know
We won't bring up that number today. We'll just
yeah, no,
we'll
that's
let it
okay.
slide
Hey,
by.
I'm just lucky, right? My sister was 43
Yeah.
when she passed away from cancer, and every year is a blessing. It really gives you a perspective, that way, of how important these days are, and that they're not a guarantee. So we need to take care of ourselves and be responsible for ourselves where we can.
You need to be the best you can be, and I think a lot of people forget that. And it's critical uh, for your life, for every aspect of your life, your physical and mental health, and those
Mhm.
around you. So,
For
uh,
sure.
thanks for doing this today. It's Barb. We are the Hauser Dover Apothecary Show, and enjoy your birthday. Stay out of trouble. You
Thank
can have a
you.
little bit of cake, okay? Just a little bit. I don't want you overdoing it. Just enjoy.
Yeah, not a cake person.
Oh, okay.
No, not a cake person. Never have
Wow.
been. I mean, a little bit of cheesecake, lemon meringue
Oh,
pie,
oh,
without the
quit it.
crust. I don't
Quit
even
it.
want the crust. I just like the lemon. But honestly,
Everybody has that family member that made that unbelievable pie that you remember, eh?
oh, hey, and I love baking, but I don't want to. And oh, yeah, we got a dog
Yeah.
pawing.
Bracer, how
We're,
are you?
we're signing off here.
We're signing off. It's been a great show today, Barb. Thanks for doing this. I'll see you in September. Take care.
Okay, take care, Dave.